So the question is, how and why are we here today? Why are we here today? And all of this began with when Mayor Mike Lout promised Gerald Hall that Gerald Hall would be the next police chief. In fact, according to this document, I have attached a Facebook posting by former police chief Todd Hunter, wherein he admits that Mayor Lout promised Gerald Hall that he would be the police chief. Hunter, in this, and I quote, says, "Didn't think I needed to campaign because it looked like it was a done deal." Chief Hunter then posts, incredibly, in executive session, "I told them," being the city council, "that I left Gerald all the stuff and I was working on, and he was ready to go, ready." I've attached that Facebook posting. I also have attached an email that's dated February the 13th, 2011, from Todd Hunter, which states, "I am sending a copy of this email to the captain who will be named interim next week." If you notice the date of the email, it's before the actual selection of the interim police chief. Neither Mayor Lout nor Chief Hunter had the right or the authority to make this backroom deal. They believed or thought that they could force and dictate their will upon the city council. When the city council, following the law of the state of Texas, made an independent decision to select the interim police chief and refused to submit to the demands of Mayor Lout and Chief Hunter, Mayor Lout and his friends began a scorched earth campaign to discredit the chief and the city council. Sometime in April 2011, personal and private information of Chief Pearson and his family were released in violation of the state law and the Open Records Act, Texas Open Records Act. The information that was wrongfully released contained personal and private information concerning Chief Pearson and his wife and his children. It would appear that this very private and personal information was wrongly obtained by certain individuals and transmitted to the others for their personal and financial gain. On behalf of the chief and his family, we have taken and will take the following actions. We have filed a Rule 202 motion of the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure to take the depositions of Mayor Mike Lout, Debbie Foster, Vicki Stewart, Craig Stewart, and Steve Stewart to determine whether causes of action exist in civil litigation. We would also ask for the Texas Attorney General and the Texas Rangers to determine whether any criminal laws have been broken by the release and transmittal of this information to others and for possible other improprieties of certain individuals. Third, we have asked and will ask the Texas Secretary of State and the United States Justice Department to investigate the recall petitions and the alleged recall process to determine whether or not there have been any violations of state and federal law. The wrongful release and distribution of this very personal and private information of Chief Pearson, his wife, and his children would appear to be the basis of the recall. This attempted, I'm going to be slow on this attempted recall threatens the rights of voters. Specifically, it threatens the concept of the single-member districts by allowing individuals who cannot vote for a councilman to seek that person's recall. Simply stated, if you didn't hire them, you can't fire them. This recall would steal the voting rights of one district by allowing outsiders to recall their representatives. It would be like me trying to recall the mayor of Port Arthur. I don't live in Port Arthur. I don't have a right to recall him. That is fundamentally wrong, and I think a violation of both state and federal law. Furthermore, there are obvious discrepancies within the signatures, addresses, and names on the recall petitions. You can read it, you can see it. There are obvious problems and serious discrepancies. As a consequence, the fourth thing we would ask is that the City Council, pursuant to charter and law, that conduct a thorough investigation of the circumstances behind the recall and the recall petition. I believe, and they've got lawyers that will say, I think they have the right to subpoena put under oath and question the persons of whether or not the violation of law has occurred. And finally, I want to say this. The chief and his wife Sandra and their family have quietly endured 6 months of hurtful, false, and shameless allegations. They were hopeful that common sense, community spirits, and decency would prevail. It is now apparent that a certain small group of people are more interested in their personal and financial and political gain than they are in telling the truth or even seeking to find the truth. Unfortunately, Mayor Lott, through the misuse of his office and the local radio station, have intentionally created the atmosphere of hostility and division rather than peace and harmony. As of today, I say on behalf of Chief Pearson, his wife, and his children, enough is enough. We're not going back. Now I'll answer questions.
What you think, buddy?
Were you on the Casey Anthony trial? You sound like you was.
No, I wasn't.
You sound like you are. Back before you go to town hall.
That's good. Okay. Mr. Cass.
I have a question. You talked about Chief Pearson, dedication and promotions and service record while he was in his 22-year stint at the Texas Department of Public Safety.
Yes, I did.
Was he ever disciplined by the Texas Department of Public Safety?
Yes, he was.
Okay, thank you.
Question. You say that he's qualified, that he was the least qualified candidate of the spreadsheet used by the Texas Police Association.
I appreciate that question. That fact sheet came up for the first time. You have to understand that after Mayor Lott got with Hunter and made this backroom deal to appoint Mr. Hall, the chief, and the mayor goes in and thinks he's going to have his way with the city council and make his decisions because he doesn't even have a vote on the chief of police. He doesn't have a vote at all, but he thinks he's because he has a radio station apparently that he can go say these things. After that happened and they voted their conscience and the independent voted their constituents, then all of a sudden this information or this list comes up from the police chief association. That was not sanctioned by the council, and asked the other police chiefs whether or not they've ever had to qualify under that standard. That standard was set up strictly for this man because he was there and the city council didn't go along with the mayor. Plus, there are people who seem to be making light of or demean the Department of Public Safety as a former elected official. I know for a fact that the DPS office is one of the finest, not just in this state, but in the country. And those men and women get up every day and go try to protect our highways. And for them not to consider the fact that he has 22 years and much more training than any of the other candidates shows that he is the most qualified. And in fact, there are people in the police chief, in the police department who have been refused to get allowed to go to the academy. Billy Rolls is a former DPS officer. He's qualified. Ed Kane, the sheriff down in Hardin County's DPS. DPS officers are trained for, and the chief has 3,000 hours of specialized training and certification by the state of Texas. He has those qualifications, and so the city council never approved that. Nobody else has ever been under that standard, and there are a lot of questions that need to be answered. And I think an investigation by a third-party agency can go into the relationship between Captain Hall and Hunter and the mayor, and possibly other friends of the mayor, such as Debbie Foster and her. Yes.
Question: you speak of personal and private information.
Whether or not she had it. So anyway, so the question is, it was put on the. Huh? And I will. But the point is that there were personal information that's set up by statute and law, and it was released inappropriately, and then it was transmitted to various and sundry places via fax, internet, email.
Anything obtained outside of open records, you're saying that? Is that what you're saying? That this was outside of open records, or was this given as of?
I'm saying it was in violation of the open records.
But who provided open records?
Read the statute.
The citizens can't get open records without it being a public document.
I understand that, Mr. Stewart, and what I'm saying is that's why I'm asking to take your deposition and the mayor's deposition, because I want to find out how you did get it. Wait a minute. Hang on. Does any of y'all have any questions? Okay, then go ahead.
I got the information, Social Security number, wife's thing, and out of, we delete it. We do not use it and things like that. But, going back to the fact that I got it from the city of Jasper, they mailed it to me. Now, I did it to, I blocked it out because of what we did.
You know it's wrong to get that type of information and transmit it, don't you?
Right.
Okay.
But
No point, not this.
the way you presented it made it seem as if it was a story or something that, affected them dearly. And I think no one here I would hope use it.
Well, that's why we need to take depositions, because I think the basis of the recall is that information that was confidential, personal, should not have been released, and then was distorted, misrepresented, and printed, and it was misrepresented to people who supposedly signed that recall. That's the purpose. Yes, ma'am.
If he's saying there's just a few that wanted this to happen,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
yet there was nearly 600 people that signed this petition, explain that.
I will explain that to you. That's a good question. She said there's 600 people and they don't. The question was, since it was just a few people and there were 571 people that signed the petition, why is that a few people? How is that just a few people? Well, the few people I'm talking about are using this to stir up division in the community. A few people are using it for their personal and financial and political gain. There are people who want to use this because they see themselves as kingmakers who want to run for office, or people that are using it for their businesses. The people who wait.
And
what financial gain?
I'm saying a few people started this and used it to stir it up. They did stir up 500 people to sign it. Some of those people are not registered. Some of them signed it 2 or 3 times. Some of them were told that the right